learned of the stipulation that RJ City had put in black and white, in writing, in that legal document Brett Plummer with earlier. The Party Peacock now celebrating 13 months as IWC champion. That's number 2 on the all-time list, Jayworth.
Impressive.
Dalton has overcome everyone from Bobby Fish to Doc Gallows, Nasima Ion to Jimmy Vegas, and certainly, not the least of which, his narrow margin victory over RJ City at winner take all 14. RJ had punished Dalton through most of the contest, negated Dalton's gut-wrenched German for the bulk of that match, but Dalton found a way. Dalton persevered, and that's why Dalton is a champion through and through.
I cannot argue with the thing you said. Absolute champion material.
But he's never defended that title under this stipulation, under submission rules.
True. I've never seen him look for a submission win.
I think that plays into the strategy, Jayworth.
Fresh out the box. Stop. Look and watch. Ready yet? Get set. It's all ready.
RJ City specializes that sleeper hold called Good Night Everybody. RJ, narrowly defeated by Dalton in December, comes back in his wheelhouse, comes back with the odds in his favor. RJ can build the match around his pet maneuver. Dalton Castle has lost his maneuver. He can do the gut wrench, he can do the German, but that pin won't mean anything. RJ holds the cards.
I will say, if there is any advantage to this, it's that Dalton Castle, instead of finding out who he was going to wrestle immediately beforehand, found out at the beginning of the show, and found out the stipulation. He at least had an hour or two to try and prepare.
Yeah, at the start of the night, it was stipulated that all championships must be defended via a random draw in the reset button. That's what was set in stone here as we walked in the building tonight. RJ City, with his legal threats, turned all of that upside down. And thanks to LeBar and the beating he so richly deserved from Matt Hardy, Jimmy Nuts, and even Plummer himself a month ago, has turned that negative into a very, very sharp positive.
Oh!
RJ for the sleeper already.
And whoa, right into a cross arm breaker.
And let's make no mistake about it, Dalton's got a great technical base.
He got into that flawlessly.
Dalton's got a great background, but our point is Dalton has never had time.
Well, ankle lock. He was looking for an ankle lock.
Dalton's never had time to specialize, to perfect a submission move. You can't just put a maneuver on sight unseen and get the most out of it. It's leverage, it's weight positioning, it's years of working out in dojos. Is it not, Jayworth?
Yeah, I agree with that completely, but at the same time, I think this might be taking RJ a little bit by surprise. We haven't seen any of this side of his arsenal ever.
That's true. I think RJ expected Dalton to be completely off his game. Dalton had a very offensive-minded approach. And it still upsets me that LeBar used legal threats to will this matchup on. Obviously, LeBar is exaggerating the extent of his injury. He came out in a wheelchair at the start of the night. He's not anymore. It was not a miracle, Jayworth. Not a miracle whatsoever.
Look, we are not going to argue faith here. This is a wrestling show.
To insinuate that LeBar To say you believe LeBar that he is as injured as he claims is to say you believe, is to say you believe Virgil when he claims he was in 17 WrestleManias. It's just not factual.
I would like to get back to the fact that Dalton Castle is just picking up and throwing down RJ City before going for another ankle lock.
Dalton is doing a great job of dominating RJ.
I will state, as far as submissions go, ankle lock, it's a pretty basic premise. Sure. I think if you haven't had a lot of experience looking for a submission, catching an ankle lock is a great one to look for because all you need to do is twist.
Dalton, the decided crowd favorite. Dalton did not know his opponent coming into this building, but RJ knew he had the documentation in his back pocket. RJ knew what RJ was coming for. That gives advantage challenger in my estimation.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing that Dalton has going for him right now is the champion's advantage.
Oh, Dalton explodes.
RJ has to beat Dalton. Dalton doesn't have to beat RJ.
Jayworth, keep in mind, though, there is no championship advantage. This has to be won by submission or stoppage.
Sure. Well, there could be a disqualification. I don't know that he's looking for that.
Well, not so says Pedro. Again, keep in mind, RJ City dictated the rules of this matchup.
No,
naturally, he would close the loopholes.
Very good point.
And create as many as he could for himself.
Did you see that?
I was trying to ignore it. Oh, and he claims about his neck injury. As soon as somebody gets on his case about it.
And RJ in hot pursuit of Dalton, in hot pursuit. Oh!
And Dalton still has that agility. Still has that quickness. You can't take that away from the IWC champion.
And frankly, he's watched a wrestling match or two to know that if you go chasing after a manager, something's behind you. Oh, no. Hot shot into that railing.
And Dalton looks like he landed sternum first.
Have you ever cracked your sternum?
I have not, sir.
I did in college, and it was about 2 weeks of only being able to take about half of the normal breath you take. It is absolutely painful.
RJ back in, and Dalton, the dynamic has changed.
And then ropes right across that same spot.
And that freedom, that quickness Dalton had to surprise RJ City is shut down in an instant as Dalton finds himself on the defensive.
It's also worth pointing out, with the sternum hurt and you're taking in less wind, that sleeper hold becomes a lot more effective a lot quicker.
Yeah. Less oxygen to go around, and if the blood cannot transport that oxygen to the brain sufficiently, the lights will go out.
And then just a vicious wrench there.
And this is what RJ City likes. Dictating the pace, the tempo, the style, all spotlight on Mr. Sports Entertainment.
Absolute. Well, and why shouldn't he? Everyone ideally wants to control the match, control the situation. He just did it through more unconventional means.
Unconventional is perhaps a flattering way to put it.
Litigious means. Let's go with litigious.
Conniving means. Deceptive means. Shortcuts.
That worked. Everyone takes a shortcut if it gets them there quicker. You don't complain about the guy driving the car for saying, oh, why didn't you go the longer route? Everyone complains about a shortcut, but everyone takes them.
That's a bit of apples to oranges example there.
They're both still fruits.
RJ is a little more than a shortcut. He's on a dirt road right now.
It's like a pie. Oh, sorry, I'll get back to that. Big axe handle.
I'm sure that was going somewhere.
See, I don't have time right now. I'm trying to call him out.
Keyword being trying, but be that as it may, RJ City, the double sledge again. RJ feels like he has all the bases covered. And he may very well have
He does. There's a reason he feels that way. He has covered all the bases.
He hasn't won, though.
No. Just because you have all the bases covered doesn't mean you win.
No, but
Have you played baseball?
He's certainly presenting himself as if it's a formality, and I don't believe that to be such.
Well, I'm not going to say it's not a flaw or some arrogance.
Oh, yeah, caught.
Whoa! He counters into a chancery.
And this is a submission. And notice Dalton is slinking.
Like
slumping.
I said, tough to breathe with the sternum hurt.
And no worries for RJ in keeping his shoulders off the canvas. Pinfalls do not count.
And if you think about it, this is essentially an inversion of that Good Night, Everybody.
Certainly, it's in the family. But Dalton, keep in mind that quad swing. Dalton has never, ever been shy about elevating somebody overhead, no matter the direction. And that takeover allowed RJ to be forced to break the grasp and Dalton to have a reprieve.
The fluidity of that, you can tell Dalton Castle has done some training in wrestling. He knows how to move the energy of his body to do a throw like that. It's very impressive.
RJ waiting. An inverted atomic drop.
And he keeps hold of the wrist. Just bringing him back up, planning to pop him again.
Great job of controlling the body of Dalton. Not going to let Dalton surprise him.
Not going to let him get away and try and recover either.
But with each takedown, Dalton gets a little more determined to get back up. Dalton traps RJ. German got her! But notice Dalton releasing the bridge, knowing the pinfall wouldn't count.
RJ saw that coming, and he did the right thing. He flattened out on the mat, make it as hard as possible for Dalton to suplex him. It's just Dalton's that strong. He popped his hips and took him right over. Impressive strength from Dalton Castle.
Referee administering a count. I'm not sure if this match can end on a count out. The rules stated as such in the beginning negate that. Doesn't matter anyway. You're not going to keep Dalton down. And certainly RJ City, the opportunist, finds another opening. Dalton's shoulder hits the post. And that post is not rounded. There is a sharp steel edge that digs into your skin upon impact.
Oh!
And RJ has something else digging somewhere else with that miscue.
And Dalton, was that a kick to the leg? He's working over that knee, that left knee.
And not a usual Dalton Castle staple, but again, you got to shake things up. You got to create a weakness. Dalton has only one choice, that's submission.
And now wrenching him around that post.
10 minutes on by this contest. 10 minutes.
And Dalton mindful of the rules here, since that's a bit of a gray area.
And
now,
does he have him in a figure four around the post?
Oh, we've seen this move for years. We've seen how damaging this can be. Wrenching those leg muscles, using that steel pole to bend human flesh, to tear tendons and snap ligaments. And RJ is hurt. Can Dalton follow up? What is in Dalton's arsenal that may be able to grab him a submission?
And a knee drop right to the back of the knee.
Perhaps RJ City underestimated the versatility of Dalton Castle's ring style.
Oh.
No. RJ's got it.
No, not locked in yet.
Last possible second, Dalton slips free. RJ could sense the urgency of this matchup growing.
There it is.
Got
Good
it that
night,
time.
everybody.
Before RJ got in too much trouble, cinches on that pet move. But Dalton breaks the grasp back into the corner.
Oh,
The champion still fighting.
that dazed him. Yeah, you saw his eyes go back into his head with that kick.
And Dalton caught him.
Oh!
Face first and right into position. Dalton.
Is he going? I'm not sure.
I noticed the hesitation of stepping, clamping on that variation of a step over toe hold. RJ's tapping, but LeBar's got the ref. RJ tapped. RJ's own plan just went up in smoke against him, but the official was diverted.
And why is he stopping him?
And RJ with a title. The official's trying to keep the peace. But LeBar and RJ, just like the Super Indy title, damn it, they're a step ahead. Dalton's unconscious. RJ's got the sleeper. It's not the sleeper that knocked Dalton out.
It's over.
No! That's as good of a submission. We have a new champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, your new champion.
And it starts all over again. RJ.
Your referee stoppage and new IWC Heavyweight Champion, RJ.
Justin Plummer is in shock.